Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are group 1 and we want to explain about the adverb clause. Before we start to explain the adverb clause, we want to introduce ourselves. Okay, my name is Aditya Erlangga and these are my partners.
Hello, my name is Aldhi Yuvi Bahari.
Hello, my name is Ahmad Karim Abdurrahman Izwanda.
We are from Electrical Engineering major, Faculty of Engineering at Sriwijaya University. Our lecturer is Ma'am Amelia SPD MPD. So the first, what is the adverb clause? We know that clause is a group of words that consist subject and verb. So the function of adverb clause is to explaining or modify verb. Actually, adverb clause is dependent clause. It can stand alone. So adverb clause need conjunction to connecting that to the independent clause. It's called subordinate conjunction. There are 6 subordinate conjunctions. Time, when, whenever, before, after, while. Contrast, although, whereas. Reason, because, since. Place, where, wherever, everywhere. Purpose, so that, such, that, so, and the last comparison, er than, as. So the first, adverb clause of time. Adverb clause of time tell us about when something happens. We can use conjunction like when, whenever, before, after, while, until, and etc. Adverb clause of time can be placed at the beginning, middle, or end of a sentence. When placed at the beginning or in the middle, they require a comma to offset them from the rest of the sentence. For the example of when, you will like my friends when you know them. Let us analyze the sentence. The main clause is you will like my friends. The subordinate conjunction is when and the dependent clause is you know them. So the adverb clause is when you know them. So the second example of whenever. Whenever you want, I will help you. The main clause is I will help you. The subordinate conjunction is whenever. The dependent clause is you want. And the adverb clause is whenever you want. So the third is the example of before. I'll do my homework before I go back to school. The main clause is I'll do my homework. The subordinate conjunction is before and the dependent clause is I go back to school. So the adverb clause is before I go back to school. And then the last example is example of after. After the final exam has finished, the students go into the main hall. The main clause is the student go into the main hall. The subordinate conjunction is after, and the dependent clause is the final exam has finished. So, the adverb clause is after the final exam has finished. Will be continued by Aldhi Yuvi Bahari.
Adverb clause of contrast or concession. These clauses are used to make two statements, one of which contrasts with the other or make it seem surprising. They are introduced by the subordinating conjunction like although, though, even though, despite, in spite of, whereas, while, even if, and however. Though, although, and even though. Though and although mean the same. We use them to contrast two opposite meaning, positive and negative, and it always gives unexpected result. We can use though in any part of the sentence, but although can be used in the end of a sentence. When the though or although clause come before the main clause, we usually put a comma at the end of the clause. When the main clause comes first, we don't need to use a comma. Example: A. Though he has plenty of money, he doesn't spend much. B. We enjoyed our camping holiday, although it rained every day. Even though. Even though is a slightly stronger form of although. Example: even though the exam was easy, I failed. Despite and in spite of. Despite and in spite of are prepositions which are used with praise to show contrast, and after them we use a noun or pronoun. Example: A. Despite the pain in his leg, he's complete the marathon. B. In spite of his best effort, they just could not success. Whereas and while. We use whereas or while to contrast to opposite fact. We don't matter negative or positive meaning. Example: A. I like traveling by plane, while my husband doesn't. B. While there was no conclusive evidence, most people thought he was guilty. Even if. Even if is used to emphasize that although something may happen or may be true, it will not change a situation. Example: I will not tell you, even if I know. However. However is used to introduce a statement that contrasts with or seems to contradict something that has been said previously. Example: A. However you look at it, you can criticize that. He was feeling bad. He went to work, however, and tried to concentrate. The next material is adverbial clause of reason. An adverbial clause of reason is directly connected to the main clause of the sentence. It explains and gives a reason for the main idea. We use adverbial clause of reason to explain why someone does something or why something happens. The situation in the adverbial clause proceeds in time of the main clause, and an adverbial clause of reason usually starts with the following subordinator, like because, since, as, seeing that, as long as, with, while. Because, example: I lent him the book because he needed it. As, example: as John was the youngest, I looked after him. Since, example: since we live near the sea, we often go swimming. Saying that, example: seeing that seems as if it will rain, we had better leave now. As long as, example: as long as you are here, we can study together for the exam. With, example: with the final exam coming next week, I have no time for my family. While, example: while you are in France, you can bring me some cheese. Adverbial clause also be used without a subordinator. Example: knowing their taste, she was able to bring a gift they would like. There are two types of relationship between the adverbial clause of reason and the main clause. First, direct reason relationship. Cause and effect. Example: the roses are growing so well because I watered them. We can paraphrase this sentence by inserting the cause for the reason that the cause are for the roses growing so well. The reason that the roses are growing so well is that I watered them. Reason and consequence. Example: I watered the roses because they were dry. Motivation and result. Example: I watered the roses because my mom told me so. Circumstance and consequence. Example: since the weather has improved, the game will be held as planned. Next, indirect reason relationship. Example: Mary is your favorite cousin because your parent told me so. We can paraphrase this sentence by inserting since the place of because. Since your parents told me so, I can say that Mary is your favorite cousin.
So I will tell you about adverb clause of place. Adverb clause of place tells us about where something happens, and adverb clause of place indicates the place about which the verb talks. The adverb clause of place starts with where, wherever, everywhere. Example. First, wherever you live, I will come to that place to live. Wherever you live acts as an adverb clause of time and followed by a sentence I will come to that place to live. 2. They can stay where they are. In this sentence, the adverb clause where they are indicates the place where they can stay, and that is an adverb clause of place. Adverb clause of place can be formed as a prepositional phrase. Example. First, the marble rolled around in my hand. Rolled around is the adverb clause of place. Hurry, you are getting behind. Behind is the adverb clause mark of place. Mary fell down. Fell down is the adverb clause. We decided to drop in on lake. Drop in on is the mark of adverb clause of place. Let's get off at the next stop. Get off is the mark of adverb clause. We rode on several more hours. Rode on as a adverb clause mark. He turned over and went back to sleep. Turn over as the clause mark. Next, we go to example. Number 1. This is a place blank blank blank. The Dutch imprisoned Pangeran Diponegoro. Option A, on which, B, where, C, there, D, that, E, which. The correct answer is B, where, because this sentence talks about where the Dutch imprisoned. Option A, on which, is incorrect because which isn't talk about the place and which is one of the adjective clause. There is incorrect too because the next word isn't followed by verb. The answer that is incorrect too because it doesn't talk about noun clause. Adverb clause purpose. Adverb clauses of purpose are introduced by the subordinating conjunction like that, so that, in order that, and last. For example, we eat that we may live. The clause mark that relates we eat and we may live. He works hard so that he will become a millionaire. So that relates the clause he works hard to he will become a millionaire. Put on your warm clothes lest you should catch a chill. And a brief note, in an informal style, so that is more common than in order that. These expressions are usually followed by modal auxiliary verbs such as will, can, or may. For example, first, she wants to study in England so that she can perfect her English. The word can acts as an auxiliary verb. Second, we are starting now so that we will reach there before sunset. Will acts as auxiliary verb. Example question. First, the police and anti-terror team are clearing the area of police headquarters blank blank blank. It is safe from bomb threatening. Option A, so that, B, because, C, whenever, D, also. The correct answer is A, so that. Because this sentence is talking about the purpose why the police and anti-terror team are clearing the area of police headquarters. It is to make that place safe from bomb threatening. The answer because is incorrect because the clause mark because isn't talking about purpose. The option C is wrong because whenever it's talking about place. The answer D isn't correct because although it's talking about contradictory. Adverb clause of comparison. One of the type of adverb clause comparison is denoting manner. Adverb clause denoting manner are introduced by the subordinating conjunction or relative verb. For example, it happened as I told you. Do to others as you wish them to do to you. He seemed anxious as if he expected something to happen. As the twig is bent, so will the tree grow. So, subordinating conjunction in these sentences is as if, and so. Adverb clauses denoting degree are introduced by one of the subordinating conjunction or relative adverbs like as, the, and then. As denoting degree is generally accompanied by a corresponding demonstrative word like as or so in the main clause. For example, first, she is as wise as she is beautiful. He is not so rich as he appears. He is not so foolish as you think. And next, the is always accompanied by a comparative adjective or adverb in the subordinating clause. And note, every sentence starts with the and talking about comparison is always followed by a comma. For example, the sooner it is done, comma, the better. The sooner one gets, the more one wants. The higher you ascend, the colder it becomes. Next. Then is always accompanied by a comparative adjective, adverb, or by words like other in main clause. For example, she is older than she looks. No one is a better judge than he is. I could do no other than I did. The verb of the adverb clause of comparison is often not expressed by understood. For example, nobody knows it better than I. It means that I do know better than anyone. Second, no one is a better judge than he. It means he is a better judge than anyone. 3. It will happen as sure as death. It means that if the that is sure, it will happen. Example question. First, the car speed blank 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 the fighter jet does. Option A, more fast. B, as fast as. C, fast. D, faster. The answer is B, as fast as. The answer A is incorrect because the correct word is faster, not more fast. Option C is incorrect because it doesn't talk about comparison. Option D is incorrect because we don't know what the car does.
Hello guys, thank you for watching our video. We hope you got new things about the adverb clause. We are group 1 and bye bye.